good and she's also
She's studying well.
yeah.
You said.
A little disappointed, and that's in history. But then, it's a very surprise. My team win Elena's team. My team got me, Annie, Cat, and Ella. The other team got Daniel, and May, and Elsa, and Elena. That's why I have a very feeling that I will fail that time. But I think that, yeah, I might have a chance to win, and yeah, maybe I will win. But yeah. I remember the time that I played a game about use the head to choose the answer. It's really fast.
This is better. Because you didn't try to use a lot of font. Become this kind of data and
Yeah, this is your dinner.
are in